So the focus of this session is about cultural impacts of growing pains and how those impacts are and will be felt by mana whenua. Our first presentation describes the collaborative program-wide research into Rotorua, another one of our regional cities undergoing great social and economic change, through a variety of built and landscape approaches, exploring concepts of food sovereignty, adaptive reuse and urban systems change. Please welcome Sibyl Bloomfield, Nick Sargent and Dr. Kathy Waghorn.
Is this on? No.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Is that? That was magic. All right. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi ki ngā iwi kāinga o Wakatū, kia tātou e taunei, ka nui tā mātou mihi. Kei te mihi ki te kaupapa, nō reira tēnā tātou katoa. Hello, my name is Nick Sargent. I'm tangata tiriti. I'm a lecturer at AUT's Huri Te Ao School of Future Environments. I'm co-presenting today alongside my colleagues who will introduce themselves.
So, kia ora koutou katoa, no Namutu ahau, e nohu ana ako ki Tamaki Makaurau, ko Kathy Waghorn tōku ingoa. I'm an associate professor at Huri Te Ao, nō reira tēnā koutou katoa.
Tēnā koutou katoa. He uri ahau no Waikato, Ngāti Maniapoto me Naitarangi hoki, e tipu aki au, e raro i te maru o Rangitoto me Maungaika no Tāmaki ahau. Ko Sibyl Bloomfield tōku ingoa, nō reira tēnā koutou katoa. I'm a landscape architect and senior lecturer in Huri Te Ao. We are also co-presenting today with Dr. Amanda Yates, an associate professor at our school, and primary author of much of the knowledge we are presenting today, and Dr. Andrew Burgess, our head of department, will introduce them a bit later on in the presentation. Huri Te Ao is a new future-focused, not future, architecture program at AUT. It explores strategies to enable transitions towards holistic wellbeing through our collective responsibility to Te Tiriti o Waitangi and foregrounding the climate and wider ecological emergency. It was started in 2020 and the MArch Prof degree was accredited in 2022. We are not a kaupapa Māori program, but we have developed a pedagogy and manifesto guided by the relational place-based Te Ao Māori worldview and also encompassing wider Indigenous worldviews and connections to place.
So today we're talking with you about Huri Te Ao Hohonga and our program Kaupapa. The development of this kaupapa has been supported by the He Puna Ora Regeneration Lab, which has developed a Māori-centred systems change and regeneration tool, the Māori Ora Compass, seen in the middle of this diagram here and repeating some of the circularity that we've seen today in images and diagrams. As part of a national science challenge, Building Better Homes, Towns and Cities Urban Wellbeing Program, this research has led to a partnership with Te Tātou or Te Arawa, who have developed their own version of the Māori Ora Compass focused on housing. Our paper today describes our teaching and collaborative program-wide research for Rotorua, a regional city undergoing great social and economic change. Through a variety of building and landscape approaches, we have explored concepts of food sovereignty, adaptive reuse and urban systems change. We will also describe our program-wide use of the Māori Ora Compass as a tool to help us navigate this work. To guide our mahi in the architecture programs at Huri Te Ao, we as a staff have collectively developed this kaupapa document that sets our course for regenerative practices or mauritanga, framed by mahitahitanga or collective work across our teaching and research. This kaupapa in turn informs Ara Ako Ora, our learning journey for tauira students across the 3-year undergraduate and 2-year postgraduate programs in architecture, where we start from whakapapa, who we are, what knowledge and experiences we bring for working towards regenerative solutions to complex situations.
The work developing our school kaupapa and Te Ara Ako order was guided by our colleague, Associate Professor Dr. Amanda Yates. Amanda is also the program lead and principal investigator of the Urban Wellbeing Program, part of the Building Better Homes, Towns and Cities National Science Challenge. In this clip, Amanda talks about the development of the Modi Order Compass, a navigation tool developed in the NSC research that's informed the development of our kaupapa.
Yeah, the Urban Wellbeing Research Program is funded by the National Science Challenge, by the Building Better Homes, Towns and Cities program. And we started in 2020 and are focused on urban and architectural system change at this time of ecological emergency. And we're really exploring how we can develop Māori-centred cities that regenerate social, cultural and ecological wellbeing.
How has this informed the development of our kaupapa at Huri Te Ao, which you've done a lot of work on over the last few years?
Yep, well, I think both our research program and our AUT, Huri Te Ao architecture program, share a strategic focus on regenerative and Māori-led architecture and urbanism. We're very aware of the need for radical system change, actually, at this time of ecological emergency. And I think at Huri Te Ao, in the architecture program, we have a really strategic focus on research. We see that as a fundamental base for contemporary architectural education, because we just are in this time of radical change, and a strong connection between education and research and live action research projects is really important and really valuable, and also offers great outcomes both for communities, for community researchers and for students.
The Compass is a research outcome from the Urban Wellbeing Program, developed as a kit set that can be collaboratively fine-tuned with specific communities, community partners. Amanda led the co-creation of a compass for use within our school as an orientation tool for tauira and staff alike. This compass has informed our pedagogy and has been pivotal in framing collaborative research with communities. In this video, representatives of Te Tātou o Te Arawa describe their experience working with the Māori Order Compass. Te Tātou o Te Arawa represents Te Arawa Whānui and works in partnership with Rotorua Lakes Council to achieve socio-economic and cultural prosperity for Te Arawa, for Māori and for the wider community in the Rotorua district.
So we jumped on the Waka with the AUT Auckland, and we've been now on a journey of 18 months. Testing these elements, testing this Māori Order Compass that's based on international research that the National Science Challenge funding have funded this with AUT. We've tested it with our people, we've gone to the hapu, how does this feel, what is this? Could we, instead of having a strategy that might sit on the shelf and just grow dust and never be used again, can we instead look at developing a model for housing for Te Arawa?
The housing situation with our people was a catalyst for change. And when you think about housing, it's not just a roof over your head. It's about educating our people on the system and the ability to get a house, all the things that come with that. It's about employment. It's about all these toes that are important for us. So it's a holistic approach to well-being. And the catalyst has been housing. You know, when you look at housing, it's one of the three needs of humankind: food, water, and shelter, right? So we'll address the shelter part of it, but it has a connection to all those well-being factors that I've talked about. Social connection, cultural connection, really understanding who you are and taking pride in that. You know, environmental challenges that we face, you know, how do we connect with that? And then, of course, commerce. We've got our assets, we've got our land, you know, how do we actually generate the income in a balanced way? It also contributes back to adding value to those other contributions that I've just
And in this clip, Amanda talks about how the work with Te Tātou o Te Arawa and Rotorua Lakes Council gave rise to our school-wide 2022 project.
Can you tell us how the compass has landed in Rotorua and also how its use has informed the 2022 Rotorua project we were working on.
Yeah, well, we've worked with the research program over the past 3 years with Te Tātou o Te Arawa. That's a Rotorua-based iwi governance group, and a number of the members of our group whakapapa to Te Arawa, as do I. So it felt like a really important place to start, but it also felt like Te Tātou o Te Arawa as a group was doing really interesting stuff around visioning Māori order and change in the built and ecological environment. So we worked with them to support them to develop their own place-based housing and neighbourhood level compass. And then we subsequently worked with them and with Rotorua Lakes Council on an initial urban level compass. Yeah, and then in terms of the Rotorua-focused vertical wānanga studio, I really offered a chance for our tauira and our school to test out our school's compass, which is very much aligned with the housing and neighbourhood level compass of Te Tātou. And it really just supported the students to think about system change, about Māori-centred cities, in a way that was quite wide-ranging and exploratory. Yeah.
So as Amanda said in that clip, using the Māori Ora compass in our studio wānanga teaching supports the implementation of our regenerative aspirations. The compass encourages tauira students' exploration of relationality across scales, assisting in understanding the connection between the local actions and their impacts on the wider community and on the planet. It provides tangible starting points for designing, such as planning 15-minute walkable neighbourhoods and sponge city infrastructures. Most importantly, the compass centres Māori cultural norms, effectively modelling Māori relational concepts. Through visualising a dialogue between Mātauranga Māori and Western systems thinking, it can enable teachers to feel more confident in how regenerative design approaches align with Indigenous expectations for Māori order through an ecologically connected cultural model, uplifting Te Tiriti partnership. As a Pākehā academic, through using the compass as a co-creation tool with my students, I feel more enabled to begin to teach regeneration in a way that aligns with Indigenous expectations for Māori order. And now our colleague Dr. Andrew Burgess will tell you a little more about how we have worked across our programs in relation to the city of Rotorua.
The core values that we have at Huri centre around active engagement and system change, and so how we engage with communities and industry is very important to us. As a part of this commitment, we really love the idea of gathering hundreds of students and staff with their collective and individual energy and creativity, skills and experiences, and bringing that all together to focus on specific places or challenges or opportunities to really drive this system change forward. The challenge that we've set ourselves presents us with a number of considerations, both ethical and practical. It's essential to build safe spaces for all parties to manage expectations and commitments. As we are building and developing relationships, things will progress at different speeds and intensities, and we need to be adaptive and responsive to that. Our kaupapa or our manifesto gives us this flexibility and adaptability to allow us to engage with groups at a place that works for all of us, and we can generate learnings and propositions that can be shared, passed on and picked up in future years. The Year 3 work, for example, is exploratory in looking at how the Māori Order Compass can be used to reimagine the inner city of Rotorua, to imagine what could be done there. The focus here is to generate ideas for public exhibition and discussion. The Year 2 project, on the other hand, is working on developing proposals for a food hub with Kai Rotorua. This work is a continuation of previous student work and is building upon that, and this in turn will be passed on to students in the future as well.
So guided by the compass across year levels, we focused on centering Māori ora through whenua ora, wai ora, hapori ora, ohanga ora, and whare ora. These studio wānanga-based inquiries engage with ecological regeneration strategies in urban landscapes to catalyse urban systems change. Some projects explore the potential of nature-based solutions for climate adaptation and how becoming a Tier 1 council will affect Rotorua, looking at how connection to living and natural systems could help support these changes. Further projects tested how urban food concepts, along with the values of Kotahitanga and Manaakitanga, can activate change in provincial urban systems, processes and communities, and in the context of population growth, urban intensification and food insecurity, while also facilitating the expression of existing and emerging place-based identities. The Māori Ora Compass as a shared tool and our program-wide collective project for Rotorua helps us to realise our Kotahitanga kaupapa. Working across year levels and across the different core courses, our Wānanga Design Studio courses work collaboratively with either the intelligence stream, which is our history, theory and research stream, or ecology stream courses, which is more systems and technology or technical skills focused. And they run alongside one another. This allows the students to extend their work, their knowledge and engagement in place. And this was even stronger for this particular project with 3 year groups and a total of 5 courses, which included 3 Wānanga or Design Studio courses and 2 intelligence courses, all focused in Rotorua. And we were able to bring them together for collective Wānanga.
So now to some examples of tauira work. Year 4 students developed feasibility studies for 6-storey housing developments with an aim to generate opportunities for tangata whenua, enliven the public realm and activate Māori through regenerative design. In this project, Giovanni explores how knowledge held by the whenua, in this case Rotorua's Fenton Street, might be revealed through urban design. Strategically, the design of public space then catalyses the densification and revitalisation of the area with public realm and private space interconnected. Similarly, Emma explores how native vegetation and ecological systems can be integrated into the adaptive reuse of a car park building, addressing housing scarcity and designing living systems that connect beyond the limits of a single building site. Our Year 3 students designed mixed-use buildings with a focus on kitua, designing with long-term timescales in mind. Working off the compass, SAPI's project aims to reconnect residents to Papatuanuku through the design of an urban farm that supports a wide range of ecological systems and community programs. Considering kitua, SAPI designed a narrative that stages the project across 50 years and imagines surrounding streets and public spaces eventually being repurposed as productive garden. Sivan focused primarily on hapori ora within the compass, connected communities, to propose much-needed facilities and activities for local rangatahi. His exploration of temporality considered everyday events, for example, daily scheduling, public communication strategies. This is both a way to test the design and imagine the design's impact on the life of the town.
Year 2 worked on imagining a food hub for Kai Rotorua. 4 different sites in Rotorua were explored by the student groups looking at a potential for a food hub that incorporated the 4 po of a seed bank, a kumara museum, a commercial kitchen and a cafe. Kai Rotorua are a Māori kai organisation, but they are not a mana whenua organisation. This kaupapa has been shared with us for the students to work with, and the intention is that the resulting work is then gifted back to Kai Rotorua in reciprocity to further their vision of a food hub in conversation with Rotorua Lakes Council. The second year Wānanga or Design Studio focus is Māori. The students working on the Kai Rotorua kaupapa explored issues of food sovereignty and the well-being of community and te taiao, and a sense of belonging through food. The students were encouraged to creatively interpret the 4 po and to explore ways to achieve these outcomes in innovative, place-based and community-centred ways. Bonnie here observed that there was a limited access to affordable, quality and nutrient-dense foods in Rotorua, and she focused on Kai Rotorua's intention to collaborate with others to create a community that is well connected to its people, the land, Indigenous culture and their food through education and by supporting local economies and food networks. These images here show her interpretation of a seed bank as a living library. This image here shows the extent, I guess, of the railway road site, which Bonnie engaged with, capitalising on the connective potential of the disused railway line. And this final slide of Bonnie's here shows the commercial kitchen and cafe spaces that she envisaged for Kai Rotorua.
Finally, this Year 2 project for Kai Rotorua by Eliana took a much wider view than that of the normative architectural site research, identifying the site as strategically placed in the catchment between the Maunga and the lake. A focus on Waiora led to a proposal for a nature-based solution through stream daylighting and planting for pollution remediation and biodiversity, alongside delivering the food hub space for Kai Rotorua. The text on the slide here is from Eliana's accompanying ecologies coursework, where students discussed their design project within a wider contextual understanding. So we all understand there is an urgent need for widespread cultural change to meaningfully respond to ecological and climate emergency. At Huri Te Ao Hohoanga, grounded in te tiriti partnership and place-based relationships, we explore strategies to enable transitions towards holistic well-being. Central to our learning and exploration is this idea of an expanded site, a deepened understanding of the flows of energy, materials, and the more than human beings that influence and are influenced by an architectural intervention. And that is why we are here with our hammers, breaking down silos, and keen to talk with you, landscape architects, about our program, our research, and our ongoing development.
Rather than passively studying within a classroom, we are focused on helping to make real change in communities through action. We're asking what can happen when 300 people focus their skills, personal experience, worldviews, and energy on an issue. Such place-based engagement at this scale is not without some challenges. There are complications engaging their spaces from a tertiary institution to generate and facilitate meaningful relationships separated by distance. As an example, our semester timetable and duration were in conflict with Maramataka, which guides the work of Kai Rotorua. So that relationship needed to be held lightly in order not to place demands on this ropu. And 6 months later, we are still developing the most appropriate and useful ways to bring the Tauira work back to the group. Aligning the goals of community and needs of the students oftentimes requires working beyond course and semester deadlines and across multiple years to develop and sustain relationships.
The Modi Order Compass, and we are tying up now, so I apologise, we've gone a little bit over time. The Modi Order Compass, our kaupapa documents and our pedagogical strategies, such as the vertical wānanga, are examples of tools and methods that we're developing to help navigate this work. The Modi Order Compass helps us to translate, orient, and to ground the many diverse experiences, desires, and worldviews that fill the collective kete of tauira, kaiako, and community partners. This is especially useful when some of the concepts may be new and unfamiliar for members of this collective, both those grounded in te ao Māori and in Western built environment models of system change. For a transformative vision to be effective, it should be clear, ambitious, inspiring, and meaningful in the context of locally held values and experiences. At Huri Te Ao Hohoanga, our clear focus and vision is important because it communicates the shared values for teaching, research, and collegiality, and sets the culture for the program itself and the people within it. It forms a framework for decision-making and goal-setting, and for assessing if an aspect of the program is successful or if it needs further refinement. I just wanted to let you guys know that we've put our manifesto and kaupapa posters up at the back of the room, so you are able to have a closer look. But that's us. Thank you very much for having us.